with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, Kathy, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, would you please do roll call for us?
My pleasure. Mayor McGowan,
Here.
Matthew Lund,
Present.
John Glondo,
Here.
Rustin Weaver,
Hi, Kathy, I'm here.
Stephen Harper is absent. Nikki Holtz,
Here.
Beth Williams,
Well, she'll, if she can, she'll be on. She's working. She'll try and join by Zoom.
okay. And Ken Ratliff,
No sign of Ken.
okay.
He was,
There
he
you-
said that he'd be in California. His daughter was having a baby last week. I think we
Okay,
ought to excuse him.
okay. I'd like to have a motion to excuse the absent council people.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded to excuse the absent council members. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So approval of the meeting agenda?
I move that we approve the meeting agenda.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve the meeting agenda. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So under announcements, appointments, awards, and recognition, I do have a letter that came in your packet that we added in there that came, Mark Cook from the county, Kittitas County, asked us to approve this letter, have me sign it to send off to Congresswoman Kim Schreier. And that's they're asking for legislation and project funding to widen I-90 from Easton to Elum. This letter, you didn't have much chance to read. If you want to look it over and see what you think, if we could, like I say, we got this late Friday after everybody's packet went out. I could read it if you want, but I don't know if it's necessary.
I have the letter in my packet.
Let's see, it's this one here. It should be,
Yeah, I do have it there. So I make the motion, we approve it.
okay. They're still kind of reading at it. There's been a motion. We'll wait for a second. If there is.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to have me sign this letter of reauthorization legislation to designate funding request for the I-90 widening from Easton to Elum. Questions on the motion?
I'm going to vote no. It's not that I don't support the project, but
Time sensitive.
you'll see in here where it says it's a, what is it called? They call it a member designated project. Those are earmarks, which is something that Congress hadn't been doing for a long time because I think it's a really bad way to appropriate money. And so I am against earmarks, so I'll be voting against this letter, but I do support the project.
Well, you know, they are allowing them now.
They are.
So if we, okay, any other questions on the motion? If not, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, so we don't have a majority for this, so it gets tabled. All right.
Wasn't it 3-1?
Well, yes, I know, but there's got to be a majority, at least 4 on the council. Otherwise, it's not a majority of the council, near as I could tell, unless somebody knows different.
Alex,
It
is
usually
that-
takes,
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
it takes all 4 votes for a
well,
majority of the
Alex is
council.
on Alex is on the.
Yeah, Mayor, that is limited to certain instances, and I don't think that would occur or that it's required in this instance. For a vote on this sort of letter, you'll just need a majority of the quorum.
Okay. I'm being way too strict. That was our attorney that piped in there, by the way. Okay, 3-1, we'll sign the letter, send it off to Congresswoman Schreier. Well, thank you for that, Alex. Pays to have an attorney. Okay, so now we'll go down to the consent agenda.
Move to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I should check though. Kathy, are you able to hear who it is that's making these motions and all clearly?
Yes, I did hear that one.
Yeah, if anything gets mumbled or muddied and you can't hear it, just please pipe in, okay?
I sure will. Thank you.
Okay, we're down to officer reports, and first we'll hear from our city administrator, Rob Ullman.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. So on your desks, I put down this, if you can see this, the technology acceptable use policy. So when you got your iPads, we were supposed to, have this signed. And so if you want to, what I think what I'd like to do is you can bring it back to me signed on the last page. Just tear off the last page, and then write your serial number here. And then I'm going to make up a property transfer slip with the serial number and then the inventory tag and whatnot. So this will be the first step towards getting your iPads all settled in there. I know you've had them for a while, but we need to circle back and do that. If you have any questions, come see me. So the last few weeks, I tell you, City Hall has been kind of a buzz. It was last week, it was cleanup week. So I don't have the stats on how many actually participated, but we've got a lot of calls on that. It seems like people are getting more and more used to the postcards, but still people have been throwing them away, and we've issued replacements with no problem there. There's also been just a flurry of new homeowners, not only in new houses, but also in existing houses, and that creates our clerks to have set them up with water, sewer, garbage. They have all kinds of questions about what they can do and can't do to their property. Also, a lot of construction. There's a lot of garbage, construction garbage roll-offs. In one block, I don't know if you know that, but I forget what block it is, but in one block, there's 3 roll-off dumpsters. So there's a lot of garbage calls. We had a big planning comments that City Hall had to help with. We not only with Kathy with getting all the comments in, but we updated the website. Business licenses, a lot of times, even though the DOR does the business licenses, they ask for more information. And so that's something that we have to get back with. Irrigation season, irrigation getting turned on and off, on at this point in time, and also the fill station is a lot of accounts we have to set up. So, I mean, with all of this buzz, it does take actually some of my time with my other duties to kind of prioritize things out there with City Hall being so busy. What has been a help, and maybe you haven't heard, but we have had 2 public works people on light duty work. One now has since left and went back to his position there at Public Works, but both have been helping tremendously with Kathy's old files, scanning it and organizing it in the computer, and they've been a lot of help. Just a really quick update on the server replacement project. It's not quite done yet. I mean, it's there. so close. I had to go and replace all of the access points throughout the city. And those are the little discs. If you look up in the council chambers, there's a disc with a blue light there. That is an access points, and there's 6 of them throughout the city for the different city buildings. We thought that was the last service on the old server. We turned the old server off, and there's one more thing left. It's a little tiny print server here at City Hall, and that's the only thing left on the old server, and then we'll turn it off for good. So we're still sort of kind of working on that, as long as keeping up with all of the other some of the other tasks that came in when we do update a system like this. There's a lot of user, familiarization and a lot of questions that come up. So I think that's all I had for this this week's update.
Okay, thank you, Rob. No questions? Okay, now next we'll hear from, oh, you have a question.
Whatever, it didn't look like our capital budget request was in the.
You need to
final-
unmute yourself, Matt.
I'm sorry. Looked like our capital budget request didn't make it into the final bill. Is that true?
Haven't heard a word.
Okay.
We have not.
Lucy has her hand up. The budget was passed. I mean, the capital budget was passed. And I didn't see it in the list, but we haven't heard officially?
No, I haven't heard.
Haven't heard officially at all.
Okay.
I can address that in my staff report.
Okay.
Okay. So we have heard, and I was confirming things with the legislature, and I believe I did send an email that included the staff on that in the response from Representative Ibarra, who invited us to come back in the next round. So I'll make sure that I double check that I sent that email so that everyone has it. Yep, it was sent on Friday morning. And I said to Representative Ibarra, thank you so much for your response. We'll be talking to you later this year with another capital budget request. In the meantime, we will continue to pursue funding and finalize this project. We appreciate what you do for our region and state. Have a wonderful weekend. So yeah, so we had a little back and forth there because Ben and I have pursued those funds for the last few years, and we were kind of stunned to not see it. So I thought I would double check with the aides. They double checked with the representative because they were also surprised. We did not obviously receive that funding. But if you look in the capital budget, there was a lot of projects, including some projects in Roslyn that again did and are continuing to receive funding. So we'll be addressing those, kind of how we can do things better, I think, and maybe modify our strategy in the future. So my staff report, permit updates, we just continue to get permits. Rob talked about City Hall being very busy. That I think extends to every department, I'm sure, including planning, permit applications, pre-applications, and when permits are go to construction, we're still in the process there, making sure that the commitments are being taken care of during construction. So vertical bridge project, that's one that we're going to see movement on the ground. They've submitted a notice to formally activate their lease to begin construction this week. It's currently being reviewed by our city legal, just to make sure that everything they've submitted is what we understand. And following that, they will be signing, I think, signing the paperwork and then writing a check to the city for their first 5 years lump sum payment for the lease, the ground lease. And after that, there'll be subsequent payments for the lease in years 6 and beyond. And then also in the interim, and for every year that there is a co-location on the 3 extra spaces on their tower, the city receives 25% of each of those co-location rates that Vertical Bridge receives from the subtenants. That means there can be T-Mobile and then 3 other carriers on that tower. So don't be surprised if you see activity. It's going to be down by the Oaks Avenue interchange, kind of in between the interchange and the last or easternmost storage unit, across from the entrance to Swiftwater Boulevard, Swiftwater Business Park. So if anybody gets any questions about that, that's what's going on. I don't know how long it'll take for them to put the tower up, but we'll all be seeing it. Planning Commission, they meet next week, and they will be holding a second public hearing on the critical areas ordinance, the proposed critical areas ordinance update. And that's due to additional substantive comments received from the Department of Fish and Wildlife. And then I just want to let everybody know that the short-term rental code that was passed earlier this year, I've updated the web page for that on our city website. You can find the link on the city planning page. And I incorporated a new mapping tool, which was intended because of a part of the code that requires the short-term rentals to be at least 250 feet apart. And we wanted to have not only city staff, but the applicants themselves have a way to determine whether or not their properties were eligible due to the spacing. So that's available along with some instructions on how to use the map. And that's what I have for this evening, unless anyone has any questions.
I have two, one about the short-term rental, since you just asked that or talked about that. So how are we going about identifying existing ones? I assume they're grandfathered in. How does that work with? So if somebody had one existing, then they're the one and no one else can do it within 250 feet. Is that what I'm hearing?
Essentially, yes. Okay. Believe we did some research, because sometimes it's a little bit difficult to determine where they all are. We're adding to that list based on what we know about when they were established. And I know of two more that I need to add to the map. And I've been working with the mapping folks today on that. But yes, so you would essentially measure off of the next nearest and see if you're 250 feet from that parcel.
So are we asking the public to self-report so that they can be grandfathered in? Is that?
They can self-report as long as they have proof that it was established before the effective date of the ordinance.
Got it. Okay. And then the second question I have is about the City Heights Master Site Plan Development Agreement Notice of Application Phase 1 Preliminary Minor Modifications Request that we talked about a little bit last week. And we had a conversation at length as a council about a very small thing in a public notice about the hearing, but I have some heartache about this notice and how it was actually put out, because I had mentioned last week that I hadn't received a copy of it and asked for it to be sent. It wasn't after the meeting, so I followed up with Rob and Greg and you, and I got a reply from you saying, go to the website. So I went to the website, I looked at the notice, it was clear as mud, to say the least. It talks about moving a road, which was fairly self-explanatory, and then it talks about a private amenity that would be going into what it looks like on the map is a city, will be a city park. It's the Red Rock open space area, but it doesn't say what the private amenity is or how much space it's taking up. And there's no map. And then I watched the Planning Commission meeting. They talked about it at length, and they referenced a map that wasn't in the newspaper and wasn't on the notice on the website. So I'm confused about how we expect the public to comment on something like this, which is very important. This project is very important. How we expect them to comment on it when we don't give them all the information. And I just think that this notice was really inadequate, and I'm wondering how we go about fixing this, because it doesn't seem like it was done correctly. There's a question in there somewhere. How do we fix it? Because it doesn't seem like it was done correctly.
Well, I have a question back for you for clarification. In the beginning of that, you mentioned that you had a discussion about the hearing. What hearing were you talking about?
Sorry, at the last meeting, I had brought up that we hadn't received the request. But what I was referencing, you okay? Okay. What I was referencing was that we had a at-length conversation about extending the hearing that was on the website, that was on the, sorry, hang on a second.
I know, give her a hand. Take it for a minute. It's all right. She's not used to sitting on the floor. It's all right. We understand.
We make
we
people sit on the
understand that.
floor
It's
in
all right.
here.
It's all right. That's okay. I don't mean to embarrass you.
Anyway, we had what I was getting at is we had a conversation at length about extending the hearing that was supposed to take place at the last meeting because of a few words that weren't necessarily clear. But this seems like a much bigger thing that I think the council should be concerned about, I guess is the point I was trying to make there.
Okay, so
But I guess what I'm asking is I don't believe that this notice was adequate to get comments from people. And I'm wondering
Well, we'll
if
have
there's
to-
agreement and if we can go back and renotice it
well,
correctly.
I can certainly bring that up. I'm pretty sure that the residents got mailed, but I'm not sure.
I know that
Okay.
I assume the residents got mailed, but it's not just the people, within 300 feet or whatever it is, it's the entire city that's going to be impacted by this. And so
Sure.
I think it's important that we,
I'll definitely pass that along and find out if there's some, way to remedy that.
okay,
I definitely will do that.
Okay.
I'll talk to him tomorrow morning for sure.
I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yes.
just to unpack that, Mayor, and Councilman Lund, it sounds like you said, and I just wanted to make sure that I heard it right, that you said that the council didn't receive it and you asked for it. And then also that the map was included on some of the notices, but not in the paper or on the website. Is that right?
So I had requested it be sent to the council because we didn't receive it like we normally do. I never received it after the meeting. I followed up with, I believe, the mayor and Rob and Greg Dorn and you via email last week sometime. You said it's on the website. So I went to the website and I saw, I think it's a 4-page document with no map. But then when they talked about it at the planning commission meeting, there was reference to a map. And now I understand that there was a map included, but not in the public notice that was on the website. And so I think the lack of the map is very troublesome because it's really hard the words aren't clear to begin with, and not having a map to explain it makes it even harder. And so I just think it's hard to expect the public to make comments on something if I can't even understand it. And I
Okay.
immerse myself in this a little more than they do.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks.
I've made a note. We'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. The next we'll hear from our Public Works Director, Mike Engelhardt.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. So been working with the county on getting our chip seal for this year. Projects all laid out on which avenues and streets we're going to be doing. Got that all taken care of, got the agreement actually signed today. So they're hoping to get started on that in the coming months. The emulsion we ordered, finally, it's available. We ordered it yesterday. Should be here in the next week or two. So you'll start seeing the crew running around fixing some potholes, getting those all taken care of. Rob had mentioned the fill station over in South Elum for the contractors. I would like to point out that is actually, we've got it set up now to where it's actually open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We put a drain on it to where the standpipe itself drains after every use, thus allowing it not to freeze. We open that petcock just during the winter months, and that allows the contractors, because last year we actually had contractors that were needing the water and some residents that were needing the water during the winter months. So that was a quick fix to allow it to remain open. The crew's been out. I'm sure you've seen them around getting all the parks cleaned up, getting everything mowed. Last weekend was opening weekend for the ball fields down there for the kids and their baseball teams. So we made sure we got the fourplex all cleaned up and mowed and ready for them. They've been working on getting the irrigations, the city irrigations up and running and all the leaks fixed, which the cemetery has been a fun one, as usual. And they've also been working with the Kiwanis and Hartvig, getting some more trees planted and some of the dead ones replaced over there at Y Park. So guys have, and as Rob mentioned, we have been shorthanded. So the guys that have been in the shop every day. They've been doing a great job and happening to put in double time just to make up for the shortfall. So appreciate their hard work. Any questions for me?
Thanks, Mike. And I do notice that we have, that Beth is here, right? Okay, good. Okay, so we're done with officer reports, and we do have to have a short executive session that will last.
Hey,
Please, Keith.
Jay,
Oh. I'm sorry, I forgot all about you, Kirk. Go
We
ahead.
love you, Kirk.
Okay, that's all right. I'll be real quick. How's that?
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I'm rushing through things here in a regular.
The body camera video solution program is in your guys' packet, and that's under new business. So we can talk about that then after the you break. The generator that has not been installed yet, I talked about that last time. Hopefully we were going to have that installed. However, when I spoke to the electrician, he had a family emergency. So he's actually in Arizona, but when he gets back on Thursday, he's going to call so we can get that scheduled. Our new officer, RJ Partridge, has been passing everything in his background and all the other qualifications and all the other testing that he has to go through. And so we're hoping to bring him on May 1st. I anticipate having his background investigation complete by then, and we'll be able to bring him on then. We have noticed a influx of construction site tool thefts. So I just wanted to put it out there that if you're leaving anything out, that it could be taken. So please police your own construction sites and just for the neighborhoods that thefts are still happening, and we don't have any leads on that yet. So be mindful of leaving your property out. And finally, we did some firearms training. So the police department is all current on their certifications. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for police chief? Okay, thank you, Kurt. Okay. Everybody ready? So we are going to have to take a quick executive session. It's going to be 15 minutes. And I will have to ask you guys to leave the council room for 15 minutes. And we will be making a decision after the executive session. So, and when I won't start it yet until everybody kind of gathers up their stuff. Sorry about that, Debbie.
how long will it be?
It's going to be 15 minutes. And we'll give.
So
and
I need to start putting people in the waiting room.
Okay, let's let them put people in the waiting room and get a lot of that done. And then we will hear from our attorney.
Okay, so
they're in the waiting room.
So those people in the waiting room, just know that I'll let you back in after, well, in 15 minutes. So here we go.
You're gonna but you have to add Beth back in, right?
Put in wait. Well, apparently you have to
Putting
do
them in one by one. So
one by one.
Okay.
Put in waiting room.
Okay.
Put in waiting room.
We close this door down here.
Okay, Beth, I'm gonna leave there. Put in waiting room. So you can see us drop off. Okay, Kathy is here, but she probably wants to not be here. Okay, so now
Reset.
I'm going to stop the live stream. I have to stop the live stream. That is stopped. And now I have to pause the recording. Pause, resume.
So mum's the word.
Okay, yeah, don't talk.
Maybe they did. That's where we were.
I don't know if you muted or not, but
Huh?
I guess Debbie wanted everybody to know this. Maybe she left. She's not coming back.
Oh, is Debbie gone? Okay.
I'm still here. I'm just in my office.
Oh. Okay. You guys wanna do this? Sure.
Okay, it's 6:50 and we're coming back out of the executive session. So we have a motion.
Oh, yes, we do. I will make a motion that we accept the settlement agreement with the Millers and authorize the mayor to sign it. The agreement will reimburse the city's attorney's fees in the amount of $23,898.76. And further, that we amend with an amendment that we change the donation agreement with the Millers to direct potential purchasers of water rights to the Millers first. And seek a second.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's moved and seconded, and Beth, I think that John Galando beat you to it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Questions on the motion to accept the settlement agreement with the Millers? Any questions on the motion? If not, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'll sign the settlement agreement. Okay,
Great,
By the
thank
way-
you, everyone.
yes,
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
thank you, Alex, yes. Okay, so
Matthew,
now,
can you bring that to that verbiage to Kathy when this is all done?
I will put it in an email to her right now. How about that?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
okay, now we're down to citizen comments on non-agenda items. We usually hold people to 5 minutes. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council at this time? No? So it gives you a chance, you could talk to us about something. We're just here to listen. Okay, all right.
I'm looking
Okay.
on the,
Oh,
Jay, do you want to
yes.
look on the,
That's right.
I
On
see
the-
Mark Kirkpatrick and I see William, but they may not want to make any comments. I don't know.
There's nobody else in the waiting room on the phone.
No.
Okay. We'll move on from that. So we're going to do public appearances now. And first off, we're going to hear from Madison Ford. And she's going to give us a report from the Chamber of Commerce.
So Madison, I did let you join, but you haven't quite got there yet, huh?
She's here,
She's
Rob.
here.
Yeah, but she wants to show it on the screen. Here we go.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
And you're also a co-host now.
Oh, great. I'm not seeing that on my end yet.
How does she do that? Oh, well, okay. You guys know.
It's magic.
Just so you folks know, Rob is kind of doing the IT part of it. He's in his office in the other room.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
He's like the Wizard of Oz. He's, there's smoke and bells and whistles coming out and he's over there.
Oh, all kinds of problems, but
Rob's our city administrator, just so you know.
So he's in the back looking in his bag for like a diploma and a heart and
Yeah, all that.
something
Yeah.
about courage. Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
the courage.
That-
Yeah.
Courage, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me in
Okay,
person,
yeah,
yay,
there
to
you
talk
go.
about tourism in March. I think everyone should be able to see this and hear me correctly. This is really a recap of our tourism progress and Discover Elum campaign progress in the month of March.
So you guys have the downtown one, and that's what Debbie was going to report on. And This is what the chamber has here. You don't have a copy of this? Here, why don't you give this to Oh, okay. Okay.
So some things that we do on Discover Cle Elum, our tourism campaign, is highlight different businesses and focuses that would be relevant for a traveler on our campaign. So in March, we developed a leisure travel guide for Cle Elum visitors. This is business and leisure. So people who might be traveling across Central Washington or through Cle Elum or here as a destination itself to work. And that does include schoolwork for kids as well, and just giving them resources and ideas on how to have that experience here. We also published a guide to local event vendors. So wedding vendors, any sort of event, whether it's corporate or leisure, we provide florists, photographers, caterers, and produced a blog to give people inspiration to choose Cle Elum to get married or have their business retreat or whatever it may be. 365 Things to Do in Washington State featured our telephone museum, and with the Memorial Day weekend reopening, we're really excited to celebrate that with them, and we're able to share that with our travelers, as well as sharing inspiration for shopping downtown before Easter and getting local meat, local produce, supporting our businesses before having Easter dinner at home, as well as local breweries to support on St. Patrick's Day, as that was in March, to giving folks ideas on where to go downtown to grab a beer and meet up with people and gather once again. Additionally, I do these video business interviews with businesses and nonprofits just about their background, exciting things coming up. Orchard is launching a food truck, which is really exciting this summer. And that will be able to be at different events as well as parked outside of their location. And so that was something exciting that we got to kind of share with travelers for the first time and give them a taste to what they can expect for this summer. As well as a list of businesses that we featured in March. I won't go through them all, but we try to always feature brand new businesses, get people excited about new menu items and expansion, as well as just show off our tried and true businesses that we love. As far as the numbers, we had 14,950 users on discovercleelum.com in March. Out of those, the organic were 1,628, had almost 30,000 page views, and our top pages were a blog that we posted, top trails for winter recreation, our gathering spaces page, which is really exciting. We haven't seen that in a long time. People are looking to gather once again. Our attractions page, which has different things to do in Cle Elum. Events, which again, really exciting to see that that's another top page, and top 5 hikes near Cle Elum as the weather's starting to get nicer. As far as organic search terms, Cle Elum Theater came up as #1, which has never happened before. Very interesting. Cle Elum fireworks, obviously looking forward to summer planning around the 4th of July holiday. History, snowmobiling, hikes, as well as RV areas and campgrounds in Cle Elum. As well as some other projects that we were doing in March. I was doing those video business and nonprofit interviews. This also allows business owners who might not have a budget for marketing or the skill set yet to kind of speak their voice and show travelers who might not get to know them a little taste into their business and who they are. We also started developing our town guide, which we are finalizing here. We'll have some different eyes on it in the coming weeks. And then we will have it printed and distributed by Memorial Day weekend for travelers. This has listings of things to do, restaurants, venues, again, just resources so that when folks get to town, they can grab something really easily, put it in their pocket or their purse and walk around with it. We launched micro grants on the county level for small nonprofits. And so we're able to help support the telephone and the Carpenter House, Telephone Museum and Carpenter House with some funding that they need support for projects as far as keeping inventory. And we also are working on launching a app Tread, which is based out of Wenatchee. This is a statewide rollout. And it has a lot of moving parts. And so expect to see more about that in the future, but it basically is a place for all different types of user groups and travelers to come together and find the most recent updates on where they can go to recreate. We're producing historic now and then photos, which is really just kind of a fun idea. We were inspired off of old postcards of Kittitas County, and are taking current day photos in the same exact spot that we have historic photos, which for Cle Elum, a lot of them are downtown, and it's going to be really exciting and kind of fit the theme of, you know, our town coming back to life and our whole world coming back to life, really, which is really good to see. Lastly, we're producing our visitors guide. This is something we held on pause in 2020. We're really excited to see it come back again. And we're going to be sure to include a lot of information about being in Cle Elum, being a smart traveler and being a responsible traveler in Cle Elum, as well as supporting the businesses that we have here. That's all I have to report on tonight, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions?
Our average time on site.
I'll have to look at March specifically. I know that it actually skyrocketed. We were around like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
This last month, we've restructured where we're targeting, and it went up to over 2 minutes, which is,
Oh, wow, that's
yeah,
great.
a really good jump. But I can look at March.
Okay, that's helpful enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madison. So Debbie decided to leave.
I decided to retreat to my safe chair.
Your safe
I
chair.
did enough being on video tonight in the way I was. Thank you, Mayor and Council members, for allowing me to be here tonight after that grand entrance and exit. If I could share my screen, I'll give you a little bit of overview for downtown tonight.
Okay, I just made you co-host. It should be coming through pretty soon.
Here we go. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm going to start with a great thing that happened this weekend, and it was very successful. We had, I think, between 20 and 25 volunteers come downtown and help us clean up the streets and pick up garbage all through town, from the Safeway Hill all the way down past Mike's and the bakery, in fact. So quite a bit of garbage was cleaned up. Street corners were swept, and we appreciated the support from Public Works for supplies and materials. And we have a little bit cleaner downtown right now, except the birds did get into the garbage cans this weekend. So some of our streets are a little bird oriented, but we've got that cleaned up mostly too. So another great event. Nice to have an annual event back that we're doing. It was cold and windy, but it was nice to be out there doing something for our downtown as a group. So I'll give you some updates. We are in the process of rebranding. We're going to move to a vintage modern look because we feel that captures who we are in a feel and a look for our downtown. As a historic community, we look at the Historic Commission. Also, we look at the 20s and 30s when we take a look at how buildings can put signage up, or what they should be looking at as far as doing the facade or the beautification, just different projects. Many of our buildings are historic. Some are on the Historic State Register, some are not. So we have two logos right now that people are voting on. And there's still time for you to get on and vote too. If you want to know how, I can certainly send you that link. We'll have a final tally, I think, on end of Friday. And we'll be to these colors and one of these two logos. We're not sure which one. We're also in the process of getting ready to relaunch our facade and beautification grants. So for beautification, it'll be up to $5,000. For facade, it's up to $10,000. Most grants, we're not sure how many grants we're going to release, but that's the allocations they could try to go for. We're looking at having the online application available May 17th. So that's coming back on, and we have many businesses who are interested in this grant. So it's going to be a competitive process this time. We have not yet even released our hanging basket sales, and we are almost sold out of our large baskets. It's just crazy. We've added a smaller basket this year too. We've increased the number of baskets we can purchase from our growers, and I think we'll do okay. But it's very popular, and it's exciting to see.
All of our new planters and hanging baskets have arrived, and hanging baskets have been taken to the grower to fill and plant. We'll be doing an adopt planter and hanging basket program again this year. These programs, the hanging baskets and the adoption, are really helpful for us because that's what pays for our portion of the lodging tax of the dirt and the flowers and the fertilizer and all that stuff. So I think we're going to do really well. We hope by next week to be able to announce our public market that we'll be launching. It'll be happening 4 times this summer. We're in the middle right now of putting all of our vendor information together, finalizing the permit. With the city's finalized permit, we're just getting a thumbs up for sure from the public health department, because we do have to limit numbers who can be there. We also have to talk about social distancing and traffic in and out. So it will be on Harris between First and Railroad this year.
Awesome.
We have a fun Mother's Day activity. This is brand new for us. We're blending some vendors and our retail and our markets together to offer an opportunity for a Mother's Day market. It'll take place May 7th and May 8th. It's going to be fun. We're spacing vendors, plants. We have, boy, I lost the name. We have a lot of plants being sold. We have things like candles and jams. We have the master gardeners here, and they're in different spots around downtown that help people move through the downtown, shop in our retail, and just explore our downtown. There's also a $5 off coupon that we're putting in the paper. So we're expecting to have a fun weekend with this one. We're keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to be nice and sunny. Pioneer Days, we're trying to move forward with Pioneer Days. We have not canceled Pioneer Days, but we may be looking at greatly modifying how we do Pioneer Days. And part of that is because we do have to be aware of social distancing. We've got to be aware of how we keep things safe and where people are clustered or not clustered around town. We've got a committee meeting this week again to talk about the different activities that are going on. And just to bring you to additional recall is that the Downtown Association does not put on Pioneer Days. We help facilitate Pioneer Days. So we bring all of the different partners together in South Cleveland, Roslyn, and Cleveland to talk about what kind of activities and events can we do, how can we do those safely, and then we also talk about helping them with marketing and putting the marketing plan together. So there's a lot of work to it. I'm not sure how many activities we'll have downtown. We don't know yet if we can close First Street, and I know the chamber's looking really hard on what's the parade going to look like. So where is it going to be? So things are still up in the air. We don't have definite plans, but we just wanted you to know that we are working on moving forward with that. So downtown is very involved in recovery, and you know that I am on the countywide recovery committee. It's been very helpful. It's brought our downtown businesses into focus in a county way. It's brought the other downtowns together as a focus, so that we are in, I think, a very viable representation to that committee when we start talking about retail and recovery in our businesses. But we also are becoming more and more aware of additional things that our employees and our employers need, like childcare. And there's a childcare network committee going on right now. We're surveying the county to see what is out there for childcare and where are the needs. And our survey is saying that there's significant insufficient services for childcare. So we're going to be looking at how can we handle that. You know, we can't keep our workers at work if their kids are not cared for. And so we've got to take some look at some ways we can help families be a little bit stronger, be more comfortable with working and have their children cared for also. I don't know what that outcome is going to be. You're going to be hearing more about the 0.1% sales and use tax to increase mental health services. This is something that we also really need to take a really deep look at. It is a significant need in our county. And I personally, this is an agenda I have to support this personally, but it's also one I think people really, really are supporting. I heard testimony that was pretty amazing the other night. We don't have the services we need to help children, families, youth, adults into the services they need. And so all these are the types of things that also help us strengthen our downtown values. You know, we want to make sure people remain connected to this place, that we have a family-friendly small town, that our homegrown businesses continue to grow, and that we have engaged businesses and building owners. And so having a strong workforce, having a healthy workforce, having a vital workforce and families and a community is really important to the recovery of our community. Last of all, we're really excited to share with you, and it's in my report that you received, that we did get our Main Street tax incentive increase. This is huge. This is really a huge win for us. It increases from 2.5 to 5 million. There will be a slight increase in October to help launch us into this. It means that the downtown programs can go from 100,000 in donations to 160,000 in donations. There's a potential for that. As you know, this year we decreased that because we brought new programs on. There's 36 programs. So that 100,000 is only at that level as long as we stay at 36 programs. And we know we've got 40 some programs in the wings as affiliates who are hoping to become Main Street programs. So that number will decrease, but it's exciting that the legislation looked at all the facts and looked at how strong our communities are with that have downtown programs and how strong the retail has been, especially during COVID. That doesn't mean there's not need out there, but they were just impressed with the work that's being done. So I wanted to share that as we ended, and I think that's everything. So if you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer some.
Any questions for Debbie? No? Well, thank you for that, Debbie.
Thank you.
It's a lot of activity. That's a good report. Thank you. Okay. We'll go down next. We'll be hearing from Mark Kilpatrick. He's make a Rotary City Park Playground Project presentation. Are you there, Mark?
I am. Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Rob, would I be able to get access to share?
Yeah, you
my
sure
screen
should
as well?
be here
Okay.
momentarily. Yep.
Okay.
Did it come through, Mark? It says it's your
Yes.
co-host. Okay, got it.
Okay. Share. So hopefully everybody can see this. Copies of this was probably in your packet as well. Yes, I'm Mark Kirkpatrick. I'm one of the board members of the Rotary Club of Upper Kidtask County, and I'm excited to present the city's lodging tax grant application to continue to improve our city park, that being our playground project. As many of you know, we got a wonderful gazebo constructed there, and benches and picnic tables, and this is kind of a next phase to that project. Rotary was also involved in the addition of the basketball courts that's out there, and some of the ADA accessible walkways to the bathroom facilities, and some additional parking. So we're really excited to present this project. We've got a lot of partners involved in this that are supporting us, whether it be in-kind donations or funds to help support it. I'll roll down here to kind of talk about the need. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the park. A lot of the equipment is over 40 years old. Some of it's still functional, some of it not safe, some of it needs constant repair. I know there's discussion if there are some things that are removed or replaced, that, if there's areas that we can reallocate some of the equipment, we would certainly look at doing that, but that'll kind of be on a case-by-case scenario. So then we get down to what we're proposing is kind of a state-of-the-art playground. It kind of fits the environment, with being within the pine trees and the grass and kind of a mountain scene. And you can see we'll replace the merry-go-round, additional swings, other activities, the slide, some climbing walls. And a lot of this was done, which I'm sure Lucy's maybe provided presentations before, but there was surveys done with the kids in the community at the school. And, what was chosen here is a playground kind of hits on all the requests that the kids had in that survey. Then we get down, this is more of the plan view, kind of a layout of the playground, the swings, and the merry-go-round. And then we get into the budget, why I'm here tonight. Here's kind of a breakdown of the costs. This was also, worked together with the supplier. The total project's about $156,400. And we have our contributing partners. We've got Suncadia Fund has already, they've actually already sent us the check for $50,000. Shoemaker Foundation last week granted us the $25,000 that we applied for. Rotary approved donating $20,000 of our own funds. And then we're looking at making up the rest with the city lodging tax grant funds of $66,400. There will be additional in kind. The city is stated they would do a lot of the prep work when the equipment gets delivered. And then we also expect some other donations that could come in to help support this project and maybe infill on some other needs. That is the last slide I have, but we're obviously looking to get your guys' support. We're looking at ordering this or to have delivered, hopefully by when school's out or shortly after, so in June, to have it installed and make it kind of an exciting summer for especially a lot of the young kids. We really got an exciting summer kind of lined up, even with, you may have heard about the teen center that is making a lot of progress and is hoping to be open in June as well, to allow some of the older kids a place to congregate and enjoy each other's company as well. So a big summer for all the kids in our community, and be happy to answer any questions or anything anybody would have.
It's pretty quiet here, Mark.
Hopefully that's a good sign.
So are we looking for a motion from the council? I know this.
We'll have it in the law committee report later on.
Oh, okay. All right. I did get word from Stephen, who won't be here, that he's in complete support of this. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Matthew, you're still muted.
Sorry. We'll bring this up during the lodging tax committee report later on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Great plan.
Okay. We're down to business requiring public hearings. And so what I will do is I will reopen the public hearing on the adopting interim regulations for the curricular construction standards. We had a presentation on this at the last meeting, but because there was a possibility that there were people not able to attend this meeting because of advertising snafu, we've continued it to the meeting tonight. So is there anybody that wishes to address the council on the interim regulations for construction standards? Is there anybody online that you can see, Rob?
Nope, the only two are Mark Kirkpatrick and William. Other than that, it's staff.
And
So
you guys don't have any comments on the construction standard? Okay. Well, with that, I'll close the public hearing and I'll hand it back to Lucy on what it is you'd like to see us do. I think it is to adopt, or is it? Or no, if I'm not mistaken, Lucy, this concludes the adoption of the ordinance for the city establishing interim land use regulations. Am I right?
Yes, Mayor, this is just a formality that we had to go through with following the adoption of it earlier this year. So this is just in the records, and I believe Kathy will place these notes in the final ordinance record so that if anyone were to pull the ordinance, they would see that we did hold the appropriate hearing. That's it.
Okay. Okay, and then, so we're done with that. So unfinished business, a formation of a nonprofit organization for the Community Recreation Center. Matthew, you're gonna take us through that one?
Yeah, so this is just a continuation of what we talked about last week, and I have it was in your packet, a motion to read that's gonna kind of spell out how we're gonna go forward with this new nonprofit. So I move that we authorize Claire Nichols, president of the Shoemaker Foundation, to form and lead a new nonprofit organization for the purpose of planning, designing, building, and determining the ongoing maintenance and operations of a community or recreation center for the residents of Upper Kittitas County. The city will provide the 12 acres of land outlined in the agreement with Suncadia and currently in the recording process at the county for the project. The city has earmarked and dedicated the funds provided by and will be provided in the future by Suncadia or its successors expressly for the purposes of planning or designing a community center. The new nonprofit will work with the city treasurer to develop a contract with the city for the purpose of transferring funds to the nonprofit for the payment of project-related expenses as recommended by the new nonprofit and authorized by the city council. The new nonprofit will provide regular updates to the Parks Committee and upon request directly to the city council with regard to project status and major milestones. And I would seek a second to that motion.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Matthew Lynn and seconded by Beth Williams to adopt the nonprofit organization for a community recreation center as presented. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
I,
Thank you, Beth. I tell you, you gotta speak up so I remember you're there. Because you're on the screen behind me. Okay, with that, this motion is passed and we'll pass it on to proponents. Thank you, everybody. Okay, new business. Kirk, the lease agreement for body cameras. You're there. Yeah, you are. You're muted, Kirk. And he's frozen behind.
Did he freeze?
He
Or
looks,
he's sitting very still.
he's sitting very, very still.
fell asleep with his eyes open.
Shoot, I don't know what happened, but I guess.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get hold of him. We'll come back to him. At some point, he'll come back to life, I'm sure.
He's coming back now, I think. Isn't he?
What's it look like, Rob?
See me yet?
Well,
Or hear me yet?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I must have a bad connection.
We poked a little fun at you while you were gone.
Okay, I'm used to that, so that's all right.
All right. Oh, good, Kirk. So
Okay.
you're going to give us you're going to walk us through the the police body cameras.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So we identified the need to upgrade our car video system and to find a total video solution. And that would include body cameras, car camera, mobile laptop, iCloud storage, retraction software, all those things that we need. And that was presented and now budgeted in the 2021 budget. So in response of the budget approval, we set out for a request for proposal out there to find a company that could satisfy those needs. Harbor Tech was the one that provided us a response that came in within budget, and that was for GTAC equipment. And you should all have had a copy of that in your packet. Some photos today that
Oops, there he goes.
Bummer. That's too
Matthew.
bad.
Why don't you pass this to the people in the audience? So they don't have any of this stuff. Just to give an idea of what.
That's not a very flattering place where he stopped.
Here he comes.
oh my gosh. So don't get Starlink, evidently, for your computer hookup. Anybody tell me where I left off?
Your mouth was open.
You were saying something about pictures.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
You were saying something about pictures. I think that was the last word we heard, but not sure.
Okay. So the video solution was granted by Harbor Tech. They're going to provide us with GTech equipment. And so what I'm asking is for council to approve the mayor to sign the lease agreement for the needed camera system, body cameras, et cetera, that's was presented by Harbor Tech in the proposal.
So I probably already heard about this, but what is the total for all this equipment, money-wise?
It should be.
It's in the
packet.
Is it in it?
couple pages in. Yeah, it's in there.
154,449.
There we are. Okay.
Did you find it, Beth?
Yes, I did. Thanks.
Okay. And they also broke it down per car, and they had 3 different options. We, of course, went with the cheapest option, the basic package. But checking with our IT people and John Storch had a lot to do with the research on this. That basic package will satisfy what we're after. It'll do the job.
Sounds good. I make a motion that we have the mayor sign the lease agreement.
Second.
All right, it's moved by Beth Williams and seconded by John Galando to authorize the mayor to sign the lease agreement for the body camera system. Questions on the motion?
I have one question. Will the basic package grow with the force?
Anytime we add a new position, Mickey, we would have a whole nother system because it's part of the car, it's part of the officer himself and the computer that's in the car and additional iCloud storage. So when we get our 9th, 10th, and 11th position, we just add a whole nother portion to this contract. Yes.
What's the lifetime of one of these systems?
Well, we put in a clause that for the body worn cameras themselves, this is a 5-year lease. At 2.5 years, they will renew the body cameras themselves and send us brand new ones, and we'll send the old ones back. And
perfect.
Yeah, so we made sure to have that clause in there.
Good deal.
And are we held liable if they get damaged, broken, or is it part of the package?
Depends. if you negligently run over it or something, or that, you gotta pay for the consequences. But if anything were to mechanically go wrong with it, of course, GTAC will back their product.
Okay.
Hopefully we won't drop them, run over them. So, yeah.
Not like our life packs, huh?
Yeah, for life packs, we still
We
have
ran
them.
over them, they're fine.
Yeah, they keep on ticking.
Yep.
Any other questions on the motion? If not, all in favor with aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed? Hearing none, the lease agreement will be signed for the body cameras. So
just keep me out of the camera, Kirk.
keep them out of there. Okay, so next we have the annual report that Robin was going to introduce and Stephen was going to explain, but we're going to have to get a little more update from you, Robin, and I'll try and fill in what this is all about.
Okay. Did everybody receive their copy? Whether they were on the budget committee or, I know the budget committee received it, but I emailed everybody else
Yes.
several weeks ago. So if you have any questions, it's a lot to swallow. Basically, I'm going to read to you what they suggest. This isn't something they're requiring right now, but I would feel more comfortable if we start doing this annually. I'll just read this little paragraph. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. I
Okay.
can hear you.
Obtain
They-
approval of, yes?
Go ahead. No, I was going to say when she says they, what they're talking about is the state auditor.
State auditor, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obtain approval of the filed report from your governing body before submission, if possible. It can be done after submission by unlocking the report and making corrections prior to audit. The state auditor recommends that as a means of allowing the board of directors an opportunity to review or accept the financial statements and notes, allows the governing body to carry out its role of overseeing financial reporting. And that's what they really want. They really want, it's really hard, especially with small cities, it's hard to understand the annual report. It's hard for the person that does the annual report, but for the council or governing body to understand the whole process and all the schedules and everything, it's very complicated, but they at least want you to try and, year after year after year, you're going to learn more. So that's kind of where they're coming from. We have to have it reviewed. I have it reviewed by our software company that has a CPA. That's required, somebody separate to review it. But they still want the board to be involved and aware. And so I figured now's a good time to start and get you guys involved. And, if you have questions, we can go through them. I can submit and unsubmit once that audit hits. And we're going to have a federal audit this year. Once you spend over $750,000 in federal money in one calendar year, you have to have a federal audit, which is on top of your regular audit. And we are going to have that this year and probably next year. So I would like you guys to get involved, and if you have any questions, let me know. It doesn't have to be tonight. It can be by email, but something in the minutes saying that we've talked about it and you've reviewed it, and not necessarily you have to say you understand it, but it's a beginning.
So we're trying to bring it to your attention so that you can be aware of what the annual report is pretty much what our finances were for last year. Is that right, Robin?
Yeah, that's the end product. That's the end product. All the processes we go through with the bills and the receipts and the bank recs all throughout the year. You get to, anybody that has their own business understands basically that you get to the end of the year, you make adjustments to problems you find the best you can. And then you got your final numbers that your bank wants. Basically, and it's the state auditors in this case, but there are banks out there that look for these numbers and they go to the state auditor website for it. So it's the final of the year of the city.
So, and this is something that is new in a way to the council. It always gets sent in a report, but they're trying to, like Robin said, keep you guys in the loop so you can see what where all the money went and how
And
we
they've
did.
said it for years, but they're really, really pushing that the governing body, you know, is aware of what's getting submitted. And that doesn't always happen. So we're gonna, like, every year get more and more and more.
So if you want, we'll give the council, till the next meeting, we'll keep it on the agenda so the council can look at it some more. And if they have any other questions, we can say that you've at least had a chance to look at it a little more thoroughly. And that's what we'll do then.
Okay, so
thank
that's
you.
getting pretty close to I'm already sending them stuff for the audit. So
Yes.
the audit shouldn't start till May 17th, but I was hoping that they'd already had enough time to review it
Oh,
but if you need another meeting, we can probably squeeze it in.
And
Why
keep,
don't we-
keep in mind that the budget committee did meet and they discussed it, and they were going to have a recommendation today. I don't know
yes,
if
Stephen was going to make a recommendation because
it was Mickey, Ken, and Stephen.
but Ken's not here, Stephen's not here. We'll wait for them to come back. I think that's all right. I think we can wait for another meeting till those two are back. They can make a further report and give these guys a chance to look at it. We're working at it, Robin. Okay. Now, next thing, it has Robin's name on it, but we are going to apply for a scholarship to send Robin out to the what do we call that?
Where's it at?
This is Association of Public Treasurers. She's going to get presented award. We're going to send her out there, but it turns out we can apply for a scholarship, and that's what this letter that we have before you from the City Council. If we get your blessing to send this in as it's presented. Anybody, does that pretty much cover it, Robin? And
Yes,
Rob?
they need a letter of support from the governing body to apply for the scholarship. So if I want to try to get a scholarship to help out with the cost, I need a letter of support from the governing body. Otherwise, I can't apply for the scholarship.
You got it.
Yeah, and it's a $500 scholarship. The total cost is about $1,700. So, I think Robin found this,
Good.
they do have this, and I think it's great. So we just need approval from the council that the mayor can sign this, this letter.
I make a motion that we authorize the mayor to sign the letter for the scholarship.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. It was by Beth Williams and Mickey Holtz to authorize the mayor to sign the letter in support of the scholarship for Robin Newcomb to go to the Association of Public Treasurers meeting. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the mayor will sign this. Okay, thank you all for that. Next, we'll hear from Mike Engelhardt, who's going to explain to us Resolution 2021-008 Airport Grant Application.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. WashDOT's Aviation Division is opening up for grants. Our engineers reached out to us and said that we have a pretty good chance of getting one of these because of the COVID relief. The FAA is funding the larger airports, so with us being a smaller one, looks pretty good for us to get this one. So what we would be using the money for is to fog seal the runway. Everyone knows those need to be done occasionally, so this was perfect timing. And then also pavement mark all the lines and markers out there at the airport. So we're asking the council to authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2021-008, authorizing us to go ahead and apply for this grant.
I make the motion, we authorize the mayor to sign 2021-008 resolution.
Second.
Moved by Mickey Holtz and seconded by John Galando. Authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2021 for grant funds for the airport. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye.
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 Are those opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is passed. Okay, next, Rob, I think you have something here about disposal of city hall equipment. You want to walk us through that one, please?
Yeah, it's, sure, thanks, Honorable Mayor, City Council. It's a simple resolution to surplus, that's what I'm trying to say. Surplus some old equipment, from monitors to computers to wireless routers. Oh, and there's a couple of deaths. So on the back side, of the ordinance, or backside of the resolution is the list. And I just would recommend the council approve the mayor to sign this resolution. Questions?
I'll make a motion. Authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2021-009.
Second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the mayor to sign resolution 2021-009, providing for the disposal of certain city hall inventory items. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution 2021-009 is passed. So now we're down to committee reports, and Matthew, I think you have something to present to us.
So we have two lodging tax applications that the committee recommends the full council pass. The first one is for the Pioneer Days Queen Coronation, which we have, I believe, traditionally funded in the past. They made a request for, hold on, where is it here? They made a request for the $2,150, which is around what they've requested in the past. It looks like we can only the amount of eligible expenses on there is really only $1,400. So we're recommending the council authorize up to $1,400 be awarded to the Pioneer Days Queen Coronation Committee.
Is that a motion?
That's not a motion.
No. So you're
I'll make a
recommending
motion.
that. You're
The committee is making that recommendation.
making that
Making a
I
recommendation.
make the motion that we. What do you want me to say?
authorize
Authorize
the Pioneer Day Queen
Pioneer Day
funds.
funding
In the
of
amount of
$1,400.
$1,400. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to authorize the funding for the Pioneer Day coronation ceremonies from lodging tax. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye? Aye.
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 Oh,
There's that.
thank you, Beth. I tell you, you're over my right shoulder in this picture. Oh, and that made me my left shoulder too. Those opposed? Hearing none, that request is approved.
So the second item is what Mark Kirkpatrick talked about earlier. The Rotary Club is requesting funding in the amount of $66,400 to finish the funds needed for the City Park Playground replacement. It is a hefty sum, but do remember that we authorized, I believe it was $56,000 for the dog park that has run into many problems and hasn't been funded. So really, it's only an additional $10,000 that we would be.
You're reallocating.
Yeah, we'll be reallocating, so it'll be an additional about $10,400 that we would be authorizing on top of that. And then as part of that, I believe we also probably need to give final construction approval to the Rotary to actually do the project. So I don't know if we need separate motions for those, but
That's probably, well, the construction thing usually goes to the building department, right?
I just mean that we need to authorize them to build in our park. I think we
Yes,
have to give
okay.
them
Yes.
structural approval
Yeah.
or whatever it is. So I wanted to make sure that was in there as well. So
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I will make a motion to that effect that we grant $66,400 to the Rotary Club of Upper Cadas County Foundation towards the playground replacement in City Park, and further give them final approval to construct that in the city park.
Big motion. I second it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes. Hang on. Okay, so moved and seconded, and questions on the motion.
No, go ahead. It's after this. Sorry, I was premature.
Do we have to mention we're reallocating the 56,000?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Any other questions on the motion?
I thought, you know, this has been a few meetings ago when we first agreed on the money. I thought the sum was larger than what they ended up spending. I thought it was closer to 2. The final is now 156. Are we spending enough money? I mean, this is a really cool major improvement for a growing.
Can I address that?
Yeah,
They're asking for.
Beth can address that.
Originally, we were asking for close to 200,000 because we were going to put grass around it, and because of the upkeep and maintenance, we decided to go with wood chips instead, which is a lot cheaper.
Softer either, too.
But didn't we approve the 200? I'm
No.
saying, is there, we didn't.
We didn't, no, we
We just
just,
have-
we gave like preliminary approval so that they could move forward with getting the other funding that we would.
I just want to make sure we're maximizing this thing. This is a really cool, big improvement for the city. The park already looks great. I mean, I think
Rustin, you're on mute, I think.
that's okay. That's the way my wife prefers it.
There.
I just want to make sure that we were spending as much money as we can to make this, you know, this is a centerpiece when you drive in. It's beautiful. It looks great. Make sure we have enough money going out.
I think
We
there's
have more plans for it.
certainly more plans,
Okay.
so I think, yeah, I think this is just another step in the revitalization of that park.
Any other questions on the motion? If not, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Those opposed? Hearing none. The motion passes. So you have marching orders. Let's see. I don't know.
I think, didn't Robin?
Oh, Robin?
What was the amount on the Pioneer Days? Queen, was there a dollar amount on that? I missed that.
$1,400.
Okay, 1,400? That's it?
14,
Okay.
Yeah,
1,400. Yeah.
Okay.
they'd asked for 2,100 and some odd, but there's only $1,400 in eligible expenses that they listed.
Okay.
All right, that's great. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
No
meeting
count on
to-
Johnny.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Well, thanks for coming to our meeting. We rarely have participants. Appreciate it.